Welcome back, guys. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the 49cc 4-stroke, where it's been, and the engine build we're doing on it. Let's get right into the video. Okay, so as you can see, the engine is all apart. I didn't want to bore you guys with the engine assembly on this one, but let's go ahead and I'll show you some of the things I've done to it. Okay guys, so I know it looks like not a lot has changed with this engine here, but if you guys don't know, this is the 49cc 4-stroke build that I'm currently working on, and a little backstory behind this engine and what happened to it is I got it for free from a friend, and it was in kind of rough shape when I got it. I'll throw up a picture right here, and it was kind of in rough shape when I got it, but then I went ahead and fixed it up, and I thought it was good, but I just got, I don't even know how to explain it. I just, got kind of bored with the bike. I bought a sprocket, I bought a chain, I bought a gas tank, because it only came with the engine, and I thought, oh, just put it all together and ride it. And then I got the chain line installed, and the chain line wasn't working on the road bike that it was on, so the bike was mostly its fault, not the engine. But I figured, while I had the engine apart, to fix the lifters, because yes, I took the lifters and stuff out to clean it out and all that good stuff. It looks all good in the inside of the block. The piston and rings are not worn. It doesn't smoke. And I just want to go ahead and do a full restoration of this thing. Clean the carburetor, paint the side covers, and paint the metal mounting plate, and just make this thing look awesome. Okay guys, so I went ahead and tore down the carburetor a little bit. And you can see here is the float bowl. And you can see there's a little bit of rust in the float bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and just clean that out with some steel wool. The needle and seat is actually integrated into the float, which is kind of neat on these 49cc 4-strokes. And this is the thing that holds the float bowl on. On a standard China doll, you're going to have 2 screws, but on this is a little bit different. And you can see the main body of the carburetor is in pretty good shape, not a lot of corrosion, and it seals pretty well. And the little pin here, if I can grab it, it's quite small, is in pretty good shape also, so I can reuse that. So this carburetor is not to be rebuilt, it just needs to be cleaned. Oh yeah, and one more thing we're going to do to this engine is we're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to gap a spark plug, so stay tuned for that. But it recommends 22 to 25 thousandths. And just like that, the carburetor is all back together. I didn't see any problems when cleaning it, and honestly it was more just an inspection. The outside of it is not the most pleasing. It does have a little bit of surface rust on the bowl, but I can just fix that with some steel wool. Okay, so now I'm working on removing these 10mm bolts from the engine plate. This is what adjusts your engine mount so it'll mount into your frame, and they're pretty easy to remove. I just use my drill. You can do it by hand, but because the threads are old, it was pretty hard to do by hand, so I just prefer the drill in this one. And you can see there that it caught up a little bit. And like I said, the bolts aren't in the greatest shape. This engine's from 2015, and I'm honestly surprised how rusted these bolts were, but nevertheless, they did come out eventually. But you can see now that this plate is all disassembled. I went ahead and took the 4 10mm bolts out of it, and I'm just going to set those aside for now. But with that being said, what I'm probably going to go ahead and do is powder coat this. My dad powder coats, he's really good at it. So I'm probably going to get him to just do this like gloss black. I'll probably get him to do the carburetor bowl gloss black. The theme of the colors on this engine I'm not really sure about yet. It was black, but I was also red when I first got it. So I honestly don't really know what I'm going to do for the shrouds, because I gotta kind of commit what color I'm doing, for the powder coating, because let's say if I do a really cool color, like color shift or something like that, I can't find paint that will match, perfectly. So I'm probably gonna go with gloss black, kind of like what I had before, just not spray paint. Okay guys, so I know one question y'all are going to have about the engine rebuild. So you're saying, it's going along great, but what bike is it going on? Well, it's not going on any of my builds. I'm keeping all those 2-strokes because that's just my preference. But I did have a white frame, which I'll show you in a second. Okay, so this is the frame that it was on. It was just a white frame, and I painted it white with a spray gun. It was a triangle style frame, but because it's a road bike, it didn't really want to clear very well as far as the chain line goes. If you can see down here, this little bottom bar here, they're actually way too narrow, and the chain just wouldn't clear here. So it kept scraping, and I couldn't ride the bike. So that's why that I had to kind of ditch that project, and the 4-stroke has just been a parts bike ever since. So it's not because I don't like the engine. The engine's great. It's a Honda clone. It runs good. It's just that the frame that I put it on, it was never sturdy. It never had the geometry for it to work. It's not a beach cruiser. It's not a mountain bike. So that's why that it just hasn't been on a bike in the last year or so. But that's enough talking. Let's get to sanding. And to let you guys know, I'm using 120 grit sandpaper just to knock down the paint, then I'll move up the grits from there. So guys, as always, that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you enjoyed this build series, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and just tell me what you guys think down in the comments on this build series. I'm trying to do more, mechanical videos opposed to just talking about things. I know a lot of guys were asking, do you actually work on your bikes? Of course I do. I just mean that sometimes when I get into this stuff, I generally don't like to record because I'm just so into it, I don't even think about it. But I figured a lot of YouTubers do this kind of thing. They get a lot of views for it and a lot of interest. So if you guys enjoy the engine build, like I said, let me know. And I'm just really pumped on getting this engine back out. I talked a lot of crap about the 4-stroke, and I'm not saying the 4-stroke was necessarily bad. It just wasn't my engine. I've always, ran with the 2-strokes, and that's how it's probably going to stay. But it'll be nice to have this on hand, to say the least. As always, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Catch you guys next video, and peace. And have a wonderful day as always.